Boo! Happy pre-Halloween, all my fellow goons and cyber guys and nerds! Why don't we get this thing rolling? What do you say, Cyber?
I agree. How's it going, guys? I'm here, rocking with you.
Yep, we are rocking with some Halloween-themed aesthetics. We got the bats flying in. I got my Neo cosplay rolling. First time I actually have put gel in my hair for the first time in months. So why not?
Haha.
Maybe I'll try to be in character a little bit for this one, but we'll just have to see how this rolls.
Shall I be Agent Smith?
Mr. Anderson. All right, well, you've been waiting a while to be on this show. I think it's time we get this thing rolling, so let me do the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all the fellow pokeNERDS of the world, welcome to the pokeNERDS Incorporated podcast. A Pokemon exclusive podcast just for us pokeNERDS to sit down, relax, and get to know fellow Pokemon content creators in the Pokemon community. I am your host, the Top Goon Spence of the Poke Network. Is Cyber the Pumpkin King or a Headless Horseman? I have no idea what he's supposed to be. What are you supposed to be?
I am. That's actually a good question.
Are you
Because,
trying to be...
I can easily switch my face. But
Yes.
if I with this face, I would definitely say I'm a Headless Horseman.
Okay, we have a head. All right, so Headless Horseman and Neo from the Matrix. So we got that rolling. But again, guys, welcome to the show. And if you guys do not know the current guest of this evening, allow me to formally introduce you to him. He is one of the longest supporting members of the Poke Network community. He's one of my VIPs. He's also one of my artists who has designed a few of my layouts. And on top of that, he is also the second Canadian we have actually had start on the show. And he's also the leader of the Cyber Armada. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, the one, the only, the Man of Steel, Cybernetic Axis.
That is a lot of alsos, and I absolutely love it. Rock it. Beast on, baby.
Hey, that's my line. I've had many people use it before. You're good. So again, Cyber, I want to thank you for not only showing interest in the show, but actually wanting to take part and taking the time out of your day to sit down with us and actually have some time to chat.
I do enjoy sitting.
And I hope you enjoy chatting. But again, members of the chat, if you're not currently following our guest of honor, please drop him a follow, !guest in the chat. Cyber is actually 9 followers away from the big 500 mark, so if there is anyone in this chat who is not following Cyber, please do the man a huge favor and drop him the follow. So please, guys, please, let's help this man get to 500.
We would greatly appreciate it. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
Seeing that 500 would be beautiful.
Yes, it would be. Heck, if he does that, if we hit 500 followers, he'll sing "This Is Halloween" with that specific face on.
Yes. That wasn't planned, but I will definitely do it.
Okay, now I'm scheming here. Okay. All right, so Cyber, you have seen episodes of the show previously, so it shouldn't be a huge major rundown. So you should know that the first thing that I want from the guests is, well, actually, the first thing we do is a basic intro between the both of us. So we just formally introduce ourselves, even though we've already introduced ourselves before. Explain the types of content we produce and just a retrospective of our Twitch journeys, when we started, where we are now. So, Cyber, you have the floor.
Yes. Well, again, my name is Cybernetic Axis. A lot of people call me Axis or Cyber. Both perfectly fine. I have no issues with either. They're both wonderful monikers. I wear with pride. I did not always have this face. It is something that has come with me over time, but I've always had that cybernetic appearance going on. Starting with my Twitch journey, let's just say it was about a little over 2 years ago now. And when I began it, I was actually a variety content. I did a lot of Pokemon, of course, but I also did Fall Guys, Minecraft, anything really that I was playing at the time I would stream. But then as I evolved over time, I started focusing more and more onto particular content because I noticed that, that was what my followers wanted. And that's what I enjoy doing. So I started playing a lot more and more Pokemon, and then it was Pokemon and Magic for a while. But then I made the dedication strictly for Pokemon, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. With it, I do a lot of Nuzlocking, um, a lot of challenge runs like Ironmons, Kaizo runs, play as a certain trainer, like using this mask. I have played as Jesse and James as well as Brock and become victors in their regions that I played them as. And it was absolutely it's fun. It's a lot of fun using the mask to emote myself and to express my journey as well. People seem to be really enjoying it. People, as when we samed in, fix right away. The mask, love it. So it's a lot of people enjoy the mask, and the mask is here to stay.
Yeah, fun fact about that mask. Strix was actually cluing me in as to you were going to do something to change your appearance, so I thought you were going to create an OC, but it turns out you're just changing your face all the time, so I was surprised as well.
Yes. Well, the way I see it with the Cyber Armada, we always evolve and we adapt to our situations. We are one of many faces. We will become the face that we need, especially with trainer challenges and engine leader challenges where I play as characters. It allows me to do so, and I express myself as those characters a little bit along the way as well.
Indeed. All right, so for those of you on Cyberside who don't know who I am, allow me to formally introduce myself. My community already knows me, so. Well, my name is Spence. This is the Poké Network. I like to stylize it as the, because I am the Poké Network. I am what I would classify myself as a variety Pokemon streamer because I stream all types of Pokemon related content. I stream shiny hunting, I do challenge runs, I do Nuzlocke races when I can, I do playthroughs, I play through fan games, I Nuzlocke them, and of course I do podcasts on top of that. Also, I do like spin-off games. Right now I'm actually doing Detective Pikachu Returns as an OC I created, so definitely something very fresh, I would say. It definitely a refresh for what I'm normally doing. But
we got an ad break warning.
Yeah. This is mainly just the ads are the ad breaks are there just to keep those pre-roll ads out of the way so we can just enjoy the show as it is.
Fair.
But it's good enough that the ad breaks are happening during my introduction because most of the people in the chat already know who I am, so it's, All right, but yeah. But anyway, I started streaming in 2000, well, actually in the year we shall not say, when the Isle of Armor DLC for Sword and Shield was introduced. I literally started streaming the day it released, and of course I streamed to absolutely no one because I was just a rookie Twitch streamer. But for the first, even though I am where I am now, it took me a long time to get here. Like, actually, it's a fun fact. For the first 6 months of my Twitch journey, I didn't even reach I didn't even reach 30 followers, and I wasn't even affiliated because I was very, very bad at social networking and social media. That it was hard for me to create a presence in the Pokemon community as a whole because no one could find me or know who I was. But once 2021 came around, I started like branching out to more people and I learned more tricks of the trade. So before long, I finally got affiliated, and that was in 2021. And 2 years later, here I am now. And yeah, I still say that everyone's Twitch journey is different. So I mean, obviously, there are people that are lucky and they get affiliated almost right out of the gate, but then there are people that have to, shovel and grind to get where they are. But I appreciate both sides of the coin.
Wonderful. It's beautiful. Like everyone has their own journey, and it's fantastic to see their journey and how they evolve along the way.
Yeah, especially mine because I've quote unquote evolved since my early days. I mean, we'll get more on that in a minute, but I will also say again that the main reason I got into streaming was inspiration from mainly MNJ TV, MNJ TV, one of my favorite Pokemon tubers. I actually emailed him for advice, and he responded to me. So super lucky that he did, and I'm still watching his content to this day. He's still funny as fuck, but I digress. All right. So next, Cyber, we come to the now. What am I doing? Yeah. So Cyber, the next segment of the show is the origin of our channel name. So where on earth did the name Cybernetic Axis come from?
Well, you see, I'm somewhere in my 30s. We'll just leave it at that. But ever since I've kind of had an online presence, I've always been known as Axis amongst my friends. Mind you, there's been different combinations of the word with, in there along the way. And for a while, because I'm also a hardcore Transformer fanatic, for a long time it was Axis of Kaon, and Kaon is a city on Cybertron. Yeah, I could go into rants for hours about that alone. But that aside, when I decided, you know what, I'm going to start my Twitch journey. I decided, you know what, I need to move away from the Cybertron because there's as much as I love Transformers and I love Transformers games, there are not a lot. So it's a very niche market, and I figured, you know what, no, let's change it up. Um, I am technically also what's known as a system because I have DID, I have alters, things like that. So I was like, you know what, I enjoy Cybertron, Transformers. I'm a system. I'm cybernetic. So I was like, you know what, I'm cybernetic Axis. That's when I said it to myself, I was like, you know what, that really fits for me. I like it a lot. Let's go with it.
Yeah, I know what it feels like having. I know what it feels like having DID. I had a case of it a little while back, and actually, to be fair, it's kind of recently resurfaced. So it's under check. It's under check, but it hasn't really shown itself on my online presence. Thank God.
Fair enough. That's not bad. I've had it since I was a child, and I still, obviously, it's something I will always live with. I have several. But I have them more or less in check or in agreement with ourselves, where I'm the one who's in control, and they kind of they bevel themselves up to the surface in their own ways with their own emotionals or thoughts that kind of come in through my own mind and whatnot, and that's how they let me know that they're still there.
Fair enough.
But aside from that, I haven't had any type of slips in a long time. It's been a while, but friends and family have commented on it in the past.
Let's see. All right. Well, as most people know, and actually as Cyber knows, the Poké Network is not my original channel name. I was originally known as the S Poké Network. So here's the story behind all of that. So when I first started streaming, I knew I wanted to be a Pokemon creator, so I wanted Poké to be in my username, so people would identify what type of content I make based on never seeing me, and I couldn't just put Poké in there. So when I was in college, I actually have a degree in business administration. So along with that, there's a lot of networking along with that. And during college, there was a lot of group projects. Like in most of my business classes, there was like maybe at least 3 or 4 group projects every semester. And I had to get very used to working with either 1 or 3 people at a time. So having to network with these people had to become second nature. So I thought Poké Network, and I was like, that kind of fits, Poké Network. And when I tried to put it into Twitch, of course, it was already taken. All right, go ahead. Where am I at? I wasn't really thinking of the at the time because I thought like it would be too standard of a username because I wanted to like stand out as a username. So I put S in front of there because S is my first initial because my real first name is Spence. And of course, Twitch can be quite the little bitch because Twitch to this day, does not allow you to use hyphens in your username, but only underscores, and I hate using underscores. So So my username had to be @pokeNetwork without the hyphen, because all my socials and all my other that's S hyphen pokeNetwork. So you can imagine how much chaos my name caused people when it came to mispronunciation.
Network, Spoke Network.
God, every time I hear that word, I cringe. Every fucking time.
Sorry.
Uh,
I
so
never
yeah,
personally used it, but I knew of its existence.
yeah, like so many mispronunciations. Like there's this guy I know called the Raven Armed. He's a cosplay streamer, and every time I was in his chat, he always mispronounced my name, and he always called me Spoke, and I'm like, dude, it's not Spoke. Just call me Spence. But he never called me Spence. But so after 2.5 years, I just finally got fed up with it, so I dropped the S, put the, and it was a very, 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 it was a very great change. Yeah. Also, again, also a reminder to the chat that this season of pokeNERDS Incorporated is dedicated to our very good friend, our fellow nerd, our brother, our family member, the TheTrueTurbo. He unfortunately passed away late July, and he was the last guest of season 1, and that was the last time anybody saw him on stream, and it was the greatest honor of my Twitch journey to interview this man. So seriously, brother, we love you. Rest in peace. We love you, man. Keep getting choked up about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after I rebranded to the Poké Network, it was just such a positive change, I will say, because I felt like whenever people saw me, they were like, "Oh, it's the Poké Network." It was the Poké Network or the Poké Network. Like no one pronounced my name Poke anymore, which I very graciously appreciated. It's not Poke, it's Pokey.
Thankfully, Pokemon's well enough known that when people see Poke, they pronounce Pokey, especially in the gaming communities.
Yeah, I can understand that. You might want to put your mic a little bit closer to your face because it's kind of like muffling out.
Oh, it flipped over.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, where did your mic go? It looked like you were a little bit muffled, so yeah.
Let me go ahead and there we go. Shouldn't flip anymore.
Okay, there we go.
Whoa.
All right. After all, this is the Halloween episode. He's the one. All right, so now that we got the basics out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into what makes you the poke-nerd that you are. So, Cyber, out of all the Pokemon to exist, which one is your favorite and why?
Well, this is a long-standing debate within myself, but the top ringer at this point in time would be the one and only true murder burb, Corviknight.
Corviknight.
Why? The dude is a giant. First off, like that thing's massive. Like he's literally aerial. He's a taxi. But that's not even the reason why. He's a steel type, which for me is huge. I'm a steel type trainer by
Which we'll
heart.
talk about later.
Yes. But aside from that, like he has a lot of rich history. Not even also in Paldea, which is fantastic for me. But also because like even in the anime, the storyline and the games, everything like that, he has a lot of significance. He has a lot of meaning. He's very majestic while also looking very just badass at the same time. He's probably one of the most hardcore regional birds I've ever seen.
He's basically like, aside from like Talonflame and Staraptor, he's basically the best.
Exactly. And that's not for much debate on the other two there. No.
All right. Well, if you've been around my community long enough, you should guys know by now that my favorite Pokemon is Obstagoon for various reasons.
Really?
Yeah, really. Why didn't you think so?
It's not like I haven't been following and watching you for 2 years.
I should banish you to the Matrix.
I am one with the Matrix, my friend. You cannot banish me. I
Too
am
late.
I am a cyber armada.
Sorry, I'm the one, so I have every right to. But
Theme.
but the main reasons Obstagoon is my favorite. Well, actually, now we got two Gen 8 favored babies right here. But anyway,
Yes.
but anyway, Obstagoon is my favorite because first of all, that I am a fan of rock music, and even though I'm not a pure fan of Kiss, the fact that this thing's based off of a rocker already positive notes on me. And when this thing first got introduced, it basically jumped into my top 10 based on looks alone because of how badass it looks. Um, and just when I finally got to use it, I used it in my very first playthrough of Sword, and this thing is just an abomination when you set it up properly. You give it a gut set with a flame orb, and this thing will just wreck everything in sight. Like it will just destroy everything in sight. And Obstruct is just such a broken move. I mean, King Shield has good qualities, but Obstruct, you can't beat with lowering that defense stat. You cannot beat that.
Oh, I
And
don't know. That special ability of Corviknight where he reflects those negative status effects back is beautiful.
makes you wonder who would win in a fight, an Obstagoon or a Corviknight.
Oh, Corviknight.
Sorry, it's gotta be me. It's gotta be my boy Demon.
We will have to do that one day, my friend.
Maybe, 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 maybe. Maybe, maybe. All right, but anyway, so after I used it, it pretty much was my second favorite because for a while Darkrai was the king of all my Pokemon world and it couldn't be dropped from the mantle. But after when I started the channel, I needed a Pokemon theme, and I knew that Patters was for a while like co-using Darkrai for a mascot, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to like feel like I'm copying this guy. So I chose the Obstagoon line because no one was using it, and after it became the mascot, it became my favorite.
Actually, I never even thought about that. Is anyone using Corviknight as a mascot? I don't think
I think
so.
you. I think you may be the first one. Well, you're the first one that I know that's using Corbinite as a channel mascot. Well, partial mascot.
Yeah. I'm building the Cyber Armada, as you see from my logo.
Yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame my kingdom fell.
She'll rise again soon enough. Kingdoms rise and fall, and only to rise again in the future.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, so Cyber, what shiny Pokemon would you say is your favorite?
Ooh, I'd have to give it to my boy Metagross. That's just white gold contrast in the blue gray. It's beautiful. Hands. Don't get me wrong, Corviknight's still a nice one, but it's not as like poppin' as I'd say with the Metagross or even Lucario. But no, Metagross hands down is my favorite shiny.
I will say though that I'm really waiting to see how saturated Metagross's shiny is in the crown in the Indigo Disc DLC, and
It's gonna
also
be all over the place. I already know that.
we'll see. But also, I also will say that Gen 9 just really kind of ruined Corviknight shiny, especially in Area Zero, because if you don't have a decent line of sight, you probably might miss it because it's borderline invisible.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's basically very it used to be more. It used to stand out more in older like older gens. The only other gen before it. Uh,
I am praying on everything that Zigzagoon, at the least, the regular Zigzagoon is in the Indigo Disc, so that way I can just bring back my boy Demon, so I can finally
I
bring him back.
it isn't Obstagoon going to be in the Indigo disc. I can't remember.
As
I
far as
don't
I
think
know,
they
no.
announced.
As far as I know right now, Obstagoon is encoded into Scarlet and Violet.
That's
I'm
unfortunate.
praying that it is because I want my boy back.
I'm sure they'll bring him back. If they, he's last gen. He's got to be back. He has popularity.
He better be back. I want my baby. I want my baby.
Isn't it? Doesn't the Indigo Disc have something to do a little bit with Paldea, anyways, and to some extent? I can't even remember the storyline now.
I mean, technically, it's in the Unova region, but as to Paldea, its only connection right now is the fact that it's a sister school to the Uva or Naraja Academy. So that's all we got.
Yeah, I actually meant to say Galar instead of Paldea. My head's in the wrong gen.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
I gotcha.
yeah. Gens get confused. But all right, Cyber. I mean, obviously we know already, but why is the Steel type your favorite?
Um, well, and honestly, it's so strange because my second runner-up is like Poison and Bug. So like it's such a big different contrast. But I don't know. I'm a big fan of the Beefy Boys. I guess you could say like not especially in the older gens they were not what you would say attack heavy. They were always defense heavy. That obviously that's changed in the newer games with like Lucario and some of the legendaries and other mons like that. Um, and you even got the support mons like Klefki and Mawile and or well, Klefki and stuff like that. But no, it to me just they've had such an evolution to their line that I feel like they're a lot more versatile than people give them credit. But at the same time, they are definitely not overpowered. Like people like to claim that oh, you have your steel team, the game's easy. Well, let me tell you something. If you're coming up against fire or fighting or ground, you don't got a lot of coverage. Like you have a few mons that could cover one or two, but like it's you always have that wall, and people always seem to overestimate the capabilities of Steel type. But at the same time, I think they are they're just a great lineup. They have such a diverse look to them as well.
I believe, I think I tagged you in this, but I'm not sure. You know the King Gambit that I named you after in my first run of Scarlet?
Oh, you did you?
Yeah.
I actually don't remember that. I got to look into check back into that. That's actually fantastic to hear. Thank you very much.
Oh, I thought you remembered that. Well, I
I
guess that means I
thought
did.
I thought you named him after your usual line for
I
the
I know.
Bisharp, but
I normally call it Dread Sight because it was my birthday stream. I named it after you. But because of
yes,
that,
right.
yeah. Fun fact: the whole fucking time I had that thing, it had the Destiny mark. The whole time, I never looked at it to see if it had a mark, and yet it had the Destiny mark. The whole time.
The
So
Destiny
it was
mark.
Cybernetic, the chosen one, the whole time, and
So
I never knew.
I'm the chosen one, is what you're saying.
You're the chosen one in that context, but there's going to be plenty of chosen ones next month because next month is my birthday again, so I'll be able to find many chosen ones.
Yay! You find more chosen ones on your birthday month?
Yeah,
I
that's
did
what
not know
happens
that.
when you. That's what happens. The Destiny mark only comes around on your birthday.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I mean
Wow.
you can cheese it and put the date on your Switch to your birthday,
Oh,
but me, I like it for real, so that's why I'm
no, I
wait
got
a full fucking year. But anyway,
you. I got you.
but anyway, everyone should know my by now because the fact that I'm all decked out in black and everything else around here shows dark type theme. I'm a dark type master. Mainly because I feel at home with dark type Pokemon because I've had some pretty dark shit happen to me in the past. And I've always felt at ease with dark type Pokemon. And plus, their designs are just out of this world. So, dark type was mainly introduced to nerf psychic types, and ever since then, it's had a great track record. But then after Generation 6, dark types kind of went from a decent king of the mountain to lower on the pedestal thanks to the fucking fairy types, which we'll talk about later on.
And then you have, you know what? I will always crap on Liepard, but honestly, anytime I've had one, they've always been decent. So I can't really crap on Liepard as much as I want to.
Actually, a Lipard was one of my saving graces in my Black 2 Dark Lock thanks to Seed Bomb and the Water Gym.
Like
Yeah,
there you go. Like you want to crap on it because it seems like such a basic mon, but it's actually not bad. It is a glass cannon for sure, but it's not a bad glass cannon.
most dark types are glass cannons, but the fact that they are glass cannons means they can pretty much wreck everything in sight as long as they outspeed everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why I like the fact that they're bringing in more defensive dark types like Obstagoon, so that way they can actually take a hit and not freaking die in an instant.
Which is
Or
always
also,
nice for when you do your dark locks or any type of dark base run or play through or anything like that.
yeah, our boy Sonic was doing a random type lock, and he rolled on dark, and he let me die. I
Oh,
was named
now was
after
it?
I was named after a Sandile, and he let me die.
Now I was considering a similar lock. Now, did he roll a type for every route, or
Yeah,
was it like
every round. So
okay,
it was his second time playing through, and he rolled on dark.
okay?
But yeah, I digress. But yeah. Oh wait. Oh man, I am such a dumb Dugan. I forgot to share my favorite shiny Pokemon.
What is your favorite shiny Pokemon?
I'll tell that in a minute after I finish up why I like dark type so much.
Fair.
But yeah, I like how like there's more dark type diversity in there when it comes to the newer gens, because like they're also kind of like some dark types don't really need to be dark types, but it really does work with the fact that they are dark types. Like low kicks, I mean, I honestly don't know why the thing's a dark type, but I like the fact that it is.
Karopi's evolution, like I mean, you took away its bug type and it looks more like a bug. It looks just like a giant bug. Come on.
Me and Sai were having this exact same argument as to why Drapion is a dark type, and I'm like, dude, it's a dark type for these reasons, and you can't change the facts.
As a bug type person, being one of my another runner up for my top tier Mons, I'm a little sad with the fact that it loses its bug typing.
Bloody hell.
They could have made it a bug dark type. Lose the poison.
It had to be poison. It's a scorpion.
Which is also a bug.
Technically, scorpions are arachnids.
This is
But
neither
anyway.
here nor there.
But anyway, back to the previous talking point, because I didn't mention my favorite shiny. My favorite shiny is Greninja, because blacks, reds, blues, and grays are my favorite colors, and Greninja has basically all of that. And on top of Greninja is actually my second favorite Pokemon. And another fun fact: I finally found a shiny Greninja in Gen 9, and I almost died because of it. Well, not really, but oh wait, you don't know about this? I thought you knew.
Wait, no,
Like,
I was there. I am so spaced some days. Like,
yeah, like
mind you, there are also days that I'm watching when I'm also working so I do miss some stuff.
But yeah, like I was taking a sip of water, and like
You almost choked.
yeah, before, like I didn't even, like, literally the second the shiny popped up, I swallowed the water, and then I couldn't like speak, and I practically choked on it.
I also remember you almost yeeting your phone the last time you got a shiny.
Yeeting my phone.
Yeah, you were watching something and then you looked up and saw the shiny, so you kind of threw it to the ground behind you.
I had to mute the phone, like that obstacle reaction. I had to turn off the phone and then turn on my mic, because I was watching something for like 2 seconds, and all of a sudden the shiny pops up. I had to rush to turn off my phone, throw it away, and then turn on my mic, so that way the reaction wasn't ruined. Like I was this close to ruining a shiny reaction because I turned off my mic.
It was kind of funny. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
it was like, if people know the backstory, they like it, but if people don't know, there's like, this guy's like not reacting to the shiny. He's like, what the hell is he doing? But anyway. Alright, so now that we've gotten past that, next thing I'd like to ask is, what is your favorite Pokemon game? This can include the main series and the spin-off games, but if you want to include your favorite spin-off game, you can. So, what's your favorite Pokemon game?
Ooh, that is a tough question. Um, honestly, I'm a big fan of Sword and Shield. I'm not gonna lie. Like to me, nearly not every single one, but nearly every single one has some merits to it that the other game that the other games don't have that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they also have points that I don't like, especially one game in particular. I'm sure
Which we'll
we'll get
talk
to
about
that in the
later.
future. Yeah. And aside, but like, and when it comes to like the side games, like I'm a big Pokemon Snap fan, like old school and new. Yeah, Pokemon Coliseum was also fun. Not gonna lie, that was pretty fun. But no, Sword and Shield is probably my newer favorite. But obviously, since I literally started with the OG, OG games, the OG Red and Blue, because I am that old. Yeah. Like they will always have a place in my heart. Like I used to be able to do the Pokemon rap, no problem, without even second thought. I could list you all. I used to be able to list you all 151 in exact order. Um, Now, mind you, that there's over 1,000. That's not nearly as impressive, but
Like, I can name you a Pokemon as long as you show me its picture,
Oh
but
yeah,
in terms of like doing it in numerological order, no, leave that to the guy who made Cerebi.net.
exactly. Like you could describe a Pokemon to me, and I can probably guess it, but yeah, I can't name them all off the top of my head without actually visual aids.
Well, you want me to test that right now?
Go for it.
Okay, I'm thinking of a Generation 8 Pokemon that is a ground type, and let's see. It's a ground type. It can learn Body Press, and its ability is kind of wacky when you get down to it.
Oh, hmm. So it was introduced in Gen 8.
Yes.
So it was introduced in Galar. Ooh, you're calling me out right now on my favorite Gen too. Oh, body press. No, body press.
The fighting move that depend that is that uses the defense stat instead of the attack stat.
Yeah. Um. Oh, I. Um. I want to like. I know it's not this one. All I can think of is Stunfisk, and I'm like, it's not Stunfisk.
No, it's not.
But
Actually, I
like,
don't even know if that. Actually, I don't even know if that thing can learn body press.
I think it can. But
But
I
that's
know
not.
it's not a ground type. It's or no, it is a ground type. It's a ground and steel. I can't think of it. Wow, you got me.
I'll give you one more hint. It has one of the stupidest evolution methods I've ever seen.
Uh, oh, is it the one where you had to like? Are you talking about the Yamask evolution line?
What's the
No.
name?
It's not Cough Egregious. It's Ruinigus or whatever.
Bingo.
Yeah,
That. All right. So
yeah,
yeah, that one was a little bit of a dead giveaway. Its ability
yeah. The
Wandering
moment that
Spirit. Yeah.
I hate the fact that you had to the way you evolve it. I hate it. Oh, I gotta just say the most spiteful evolution method ever, and I would have been like, it's that.
like its ability Wandering Spirit's really stupid because it's Mummy but worse, because
Yeah,
anytime anything makes contact, the ability swaps. So it's like, what the hell?
yeah.
It's not like
You want to be, yeah.
it's not
Bad.
like Mummy where both the abilities become Mummy. It's like the Wandering Spirit takes over the other Pokemon, then the ability comes to you. It's like, come on.
Yeah, I'm not a
Okay,
big fan of that one. You're not wrong.
yeah.
Mummy is definitely superior.
I wouldn't say so because I kind of did some shenanigans bullshit with Runerigus and Intrepid Sword. So I got
Hmm.
the +6 on both Mons.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did some shenanigans back in the day, but anyway. But
Classic. Okay.
all right,
You're good.
all right. So when I have to give the story of my favorite Pokemon game, I have to divide it between three different categories because I like these games based on three different I like to divide my favorite games between three different attributes: the main storyline, the decks of the region, and the overall experience of said game. And I have three
Okay.
different games for each category. So first off,
Okay.
storyline. Black 2 and White 2, or just Gen 5 in general, have the best written storylines of any main series Pokemon game to date. You can't change my mind on that.
You know what? I will say this right now. That's probably the only generation of Pokemon I haven't beaten the entire way through, but I am on the way with that on my Soul Link with Sammy. But don't curse me because she's in the exact same boat.
I see. But anyway, um, Hugh, along with
I'm
that,
really enjoying it though.
sorry. So along with that, Hugh is one of the best written one of the best rivals, if not the best rival of the entire game, because he's not trying to rival you. He's just trying to make sure you're strong enough to help him reach his goal of rescuing his sister's Purloin and then beating the fuck out of Team Plasma. So
You're not wrong.
if Gladian, jeez,
I
like if
don't like Gladian.
I love Gladian, man. I love that guy.
He's so edgelordy.
I don't
Like,
care. I like
If,
edgelords.
if, if I was if I was a teenager or like early 20s, I'm sure I would absolutely adore him. But like as like someone in my mid 30s, I'm just like, sir, listen to your father and like stop being a douche.
I am. I used to be an edgelord, man. I was literally
Well, we
dressed up
all
in a
were.
crown, change my accent to something like this, and then go around the entire region just trying to destroy everything with dark type Pokemon. It's like, you got to be bloody kidding me. Ugh. Jeez, I haven't used that accent in a while. But yeah. So yeah, best written storyline, best rival, and just such a good story, man. Like Scarlet and Violet gave it just a teeny bitty run for its money, but no, fall on its head. But anyway,
I do enjoy Scarlet and Violet. That's actually a really fun game.
But anyway, in terms of the Pokédex, I really love the Platinum game because there's so many Gen 4 Pokemon that I absolutely adore, and there's just such amazing combinations you can make with a Gen 4 team, especially, with Garchomp, Lucario, Spiritomb, Drapion, just so many good Pokemon in Gen 4. It's just a good thing. And plus the main legendary trio is like god tier, so literally god tier. But then in terms of like my overall experience, I have to give it the Heart Gold, Soul Silver. It was my very first experience with the Gen 2 because I didn't play OG Gold, Silver, or Crystal, and it was just like such an amazing game for me. Going to two different regions, your Pokemon following you. The Pokeathlon was a good side quest, and hey, face reveal. Not really. You've seen his face multiple times.
Yeah, everyone's seen my face. It's cool.
Yeah, but it's just it was like it was a remake made right. Like the Gen 2 remakes, the Gen 3 remakes, they were remakes that were made just right. But then freaking and then freaking Ilka came into play and freaking blew Gen 4 completely down to freaking 10 leagues under the sea.
Oh, Talos.
I still stand by this phrase. If Ilka has anything to do with the main development of the Gen 5 remakes, I will boycott and not play them. I will absolutely refuse. I will not play those games. Because they will ruin Gen 5 for me, and I am not going to lose respect for that gen.
It is a good gen.
But if I had to say my favorite spin-off game, I would have to say it's XD Gale of Darkness. I only played it once, and I loved every single second of it. Especially,
I've never played it, but I've actually watched you play it. It looks interesting.
They did so many Pokemon dirty with their animations because freaking, like, mainly the Electrode, man. Electrode does not have eyeballs, and then all of a sudden when it faints, its eyeballs literally pop right out of its skull. I nearly died laughing. I nearly sat here, died laughing. Alright. So, now that we moved on, now that we've gotten through the love, let's dive into the hate. So let's get a little bit spooky. So, Cyber, what is your least favorite Pokemon and why?
Oh, least favorite Pokemon. Ooh. Um. I hate it so much. I can't even remember how to pronounce this name properly. It's Bruxish or whatever.
It's Bruxfish.
That thing. That thing is an unholy abomination. Unholy abomination. It needs to be hunted to extinction. Like baby seal style if you got it, guys. Just like clubbing, go for it. Um, I there's nothing about that Pokemon I like.
What caused this amount of hatred? I say punt my Pokemon to the sun, but what? Why so much
Uh,
hate?
I look at it and I'm like, you're a Digimon.
Digimon.
And don't get me wrong, I love Digimon, but you put a Digimon in a Pokemon world. It's not right.
I mean, people say people say that's what Mega Evolution was, and everyone loved it.
I actually had an issue. My issue with Mega Evolution is the fact that it's a temporary, and that to me was such a copy ripoff of Digimon that it was ridiculous. And the fact that they even called it a Mega Evolution, I'm like, why? And I know that Digimon and Pokemon are technically not even competitors. Digimon's competitors Tamagotchi, FYI. But like it's just no. Like I just can't. I can't. It's
Ugh.
sad.
Uh, I will say, Bruxfish is one of the stupidest looking Pokemon ever, but its shiny is it's stupid. They give a crap Pokemon a decent shiny. Why? But anyway, you should know my least favorite by now. It's also a shame that my most favorite Pokemon is a Dark type. So,
You like a dark? Your least favorite's a dark type?
do you seriously not know the hatred I have for this thing?
I probably the moment that you say its name, it's probably going to click instantly in my head. I'm just
Alolan
trying to think of
Persian.
what. Oh yeah, no, and I get it. Trust me,
There
I
we go.
100% get it.
There we go. Looks like a seaweed pizza shaped like a fish that has a shiny. Alright, I wouldn't eat seaweed pizza, but anyway.
Oh man,
Alolan Persian.
that makes me regret now though, because like I had a clip that involves a strong hate towards Alolan Meowth. I could have given you. I don't know
Ah,
if I did or not, but
I remember you doing that. I remember you doing that, and I laughed every second for it. But anyway. But anyway, my I have such hatred for Alolan Persian. I have such hatred. First off, design. It is the
yeah,
ugliest Pokemon I have ever seen.
and it's so basic too. It's ugly but basic at the same time.
Hey,
The
hold on,
fact that they
Cyber.
pulled that off.
Hold on, Cyber. You got a question. What is your least favorite steel type?
Ooh. Um Least favorite steel You know what? It's kind of a toss up, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for one of them because a lot of people like it. But Mawile being one of them. I know it got a boost with a Mega Evolution.
I don't care about Mawile, man. So you ain't hurting my skin.
Um and the other one is Escavalier.
Hmm.
That thing should be so much faster for its Pokemon description and its namesake. That thing is a turtle, but it's mentioned about going like Mach speeds in its Pokedex,
What's
and
it's the same thing with Vikavolt, man.
I know, I know, and but yeah. And if someone asked me what my least favorite bugs, design wise, he's one of my favorites. Stat wise, he's one of my least favorites because of that reason as well.
It's slower than Grubbin.
Yeah, yeah. We
But
don't talk about Bruno.
yeah, we don't talk about Darkrai. But anyway, Design-wise, this thing is absolutely horrendous. It makes me want to gag every time I see it. But then, here comes the biggest slap to the face for me. Before Piers and Marnie were a thing, the closest thing we ever got to a Dark-type gym leader was Nanu, the Kahuna of Ula Ula Island. And of course his battle's pretty basic with a Croc Rock and a Sableye, but then out comes his ace. Now, I know that Alola has a shortage of dark types. Fun fact, the only two brand spanking new Gen 7 Pokemon that were dark type were Incineroar and Guzzlord. All the new dark types that were introduced in that game were all Alolan forms. Other than that, no new dark types. And of course he couldn't use an Ultra Beast or a starter, so he could have just used Alolan Muck, and the battle in my opinion would have been a lot harder. But instead, out comes the pure dark type, stupid fucking piss in the seriously, just toss it into the ocean filled with man-eating piranhas and just let its remains get swallowed by a whale shark.
Damn. That's a strong hate there, son.
Yeah, and then take the whale shark and all the piranhas that ate it and then wrap them all in a giant fish net and then rocket them to the sun. Even the shit of its remains don't deserve to be in the world. Sorry, just mute himself for a sec. But anyway.
You're good.
But yeah, just super major slap in the face for me. Major disrespect. But then comes in my boy, Strix the Lion, who made me shiny hunt the bastard. What are you clapping for?
Well, Strix is awesome, let's be honest.
Yes, he's awesome, but at the same time, he freaking wants me to slap him so hard.
I mean, now that I remember how much why you hate this thing, like, oh, do you still have your redemptions for challenges?
I will not accept that challenge run ever. I am not doing an Alolan Persian only run. Fuck that.
6 Pokemon, Alolan Persian, and they have to be shiny.
I would rather die. I would rather die. But yeah, joke was on him. 4 hours and 192 eggs later, shiny Alolan Meowth, and I gave it to him instantly because I didn't want that toxic virus infecting piece of shit in my game.
Fair.
All right. So, Cyber, which shiny in the Pokemon world just really grinds your gears, and it's like, why the fuck is it like that?
99.9% of the green ones.
So just green shinies. Why not? Like,
not all of them. Not all of them, because some of them actually work well. Like, for instance, Scizor as a shiny is beautiful.
I can agree.
But there's other ones like Machamp, like Y. Like, just a lot of them. It's just like they look sickly. They look like they're sick. They look like they have been touched with the plague.
Lotad shine's not green. It's red and blue. But anyway, like, is there one specific green shiny that just like it just does not do well?
Honestly, the first one, when I think of bad green shinies, the first one that always comes to my mind, so I'm going to have to give it to it. I'm sure there's other ones that are worse, but since it's the first one that comes to my mind, Machamp. I don't know. Even his pants go green, if I'm not mistaken.
No, his pants stay black, but his whole body goes green.
Okay. But no, it's just, no, they could have done better. They could have gone, and like, honestly, I would have liked to seen like maybe a red tinged Machamp, because he's getting pumped up with, like, he's like a berserker or some crap like that. But like, green makes him look sick.
But yeah,
honestly, I would love to see a recolor for Machamp shiny as a red. Actually, I'm gonna commission that shit.
Isn't Machamp in Smash Bros? I don't know.
As like a Pokeball summon thing. I don't think as an actual one.
I'm just saying, if it was in Smash Bros, you can get a new skin.
True.
Yeah, yeah,
Kitty! Feed the kitty
yeah.
1 second. I gotta
I
redeem.
can't. You can't.
Oh, okay.
The only redemptions on podcasts are ask us a question and hydrate.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that way we don't get distracted.
Fair. I'll be sure to spoil the kitty next stream.
But speaking of that, we gotta hydrate. I have to fill up this cup.
Pop is hydration. Cough, cough.
Yeah. So technically, my least favorite shiny is technically shinies because it's all the same thing. Gen 9 did a lot of shinies dirty, but none compare to Charcadet, Armoroost, and Ceruledge. None. None
Well,
compare.
you know what? I'll give you that. That's a pretty bad shiny.
Like, guys,
They
shinies are not computer generated. People actually design them. Whoever designed these shinies should be fired. I don't care.
No. What's worse is that not only were they generated by someone made them, a group of people approved it.
Whoever made and approved them, the whole group deserves to be fired. But anyway, actually, we got a question. What's our favorite water type?
Ooh,
Mine is Greninja.
Greninja's pretty solid. I mean, the steel type in me wants to say Empoleon because it's the only steel water type, and the fact that it's a starter sucks because it's limited to like that gen or in game. Um, that's a tough question because here's the thing: water is such a huge. It's like flying. Water's typed with everything to such a huge degree. So like,
Like water, like I believe water is the most common typing in Pokemon.
yeah, and I think flying is like the second or something like that.
I honestly don't know.
Um, you know what? I'm gonna. So we're not sitting here while I debate this. I'm gonna have to go with Empoleon. Steel water, the only steel water they have.
I went with Greninja, and it's a starter, man.
True.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying your favorite water type is a starter. There's nothing wrong with it.
Oh, a lot of if we were to pull up all the starters, most of them would fall under water. A few grass, and maybe one or two fire.
I really haven't been a big fan of all the grass starters. I've normally either used water or fire. There's only a few exceptions I've actually used the grass starter. Like in Gen 3 I used it. In Gen 7 I used it. In Gen... Like, as an official run, Gens 3, 7, and 9 are the only regions I've actually used a grass Pokemon for a legit run of the game. Not a Nuzlocke, not a challenge, just a straight up run. Oh yeah, also Venusaur, so Gen 1.
I will say Gen 3 for me. Gen 3 is Chimchar.
That's Gen 4.
Or no, that's Gen 4. Okay. Um, for me, Gen 4 overall has the best starter lineup. I have no issues whatsoever with any of the start. Like I love all three starters in that generation. I'll give it that. That's one of the few times I will say that I like Fire, and Paldez being the other one.
I share your opinion, but for Generation 3, because I'm a Gen 3 baby. And I love all three of them equally. Except for Swampert. Swampert got a big special place in my heart. It's actually my 8th favorite Pokemon.
Whereas for the worst starters for me, I would probably have to categorize that as Gen 2, except for Alligator.
Yeah, we can talk about that. We can go on that. We can go on the whole that conundrum topic another day. But anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the starters. The shiny. So basically, Charcadet, Armoroost, and Ceruledge. Here's their difference. Here's normal Spencer, the top goon. Here's shiny Spencer, the top goon. What's the difference? Just my eyeballs change. That's it. There's no fucking difference.
They should have reversed the colors between the two of them. Armoroost should have been the color to Celerouge and vice versa.
That's what I've been saying the whole time. I said make Charcadet a charcoal gray, like so it looks like burnt out charcoal, and then swap the color schemes of Armor's Ceruledge, and that would have been perfectly good. They would have been amazing shinies, especially Ceruledge. But no, you
Or
just
even,
had
you
to
know what,
rob us.
even if they made it like that charcoal gray with red eyes to show that there's still fire underneath, because you know if you disturb ashes a lot of times, you still see that's hot ash coal underneath.
Yeah, I know, and you can easily restart a fire with burnt charcoal.
Yep.
But yeah. All right, so what is your least favorite type, and why?
Um, my least favorite type. I mean, it's a toss-up, I'd say. Um, I'm never going to say dark. Don't worry. I'm
Look,
fairly
my
certain you'd end the stream that instant.
look. John is my streaming brother. He was my very first guest. I love the man, but he hates dark types, so I didn't end the stream because of that.
Fair. Let me see. What is my least? Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, for a while it was fighting. I will say that. Like for a long time, it was fighting because like I just didn't like the appeal of them. I didn't get. I've had it come around with fighting types. There's a few that I still don't. I'm not a big fan of, like Conkeholder and all that stuff. Um, but honestly, I'm gonna have to say my least favorite type is probably fairy.
Yes, finally. Why?
Like there's a lot of fairy types individually I like like the final evolution for the water starter in Alola. Big
Primarina?
fan of Primarima. I'm actually a huge fan of Primarima. And there are other fairy types I do like as well. However, overall, I think they are overly basic. I think that they are too niche, and that they are. I feel like they're too forced. Like there are Pokemon that, yeah, fairy typing should be a thing, but I feel like there's few things that shouldn't be fairy typing that are,
Like
and there are
Granbull?
few, yep, and then there are a few things that aren't fairy types that should be, like Celebi.
Indeed.
And so there's certain things like it's just overall like I get why they made it, and I do again, like I said, I do like some fairy types, but the way that they're utilizing it is absolute trash.
Look, the only reason they made the fairy type was to nerf dragons, and at the same time, it nerfed my boys. It nerfed my dark types. Hydreigon is now all fairy type Pokemon's bitch, and I hate it. It's my favorite
Fair.
pseudo, and it turns into a complete bitch when it comes to fairy types.
That's understandable.
Ugh.
Like
But
for instance, Slurpuff and stuff like that. Like why? Why is that a thing?
why is
Why?
Aromatisse a thing?
Yeah, honestly, I get where they're trying to go with it, but why did they combine like a can dancer like burlesque style with like a plague doctor and make it a round ball?
I don't know. Every time I see that thing, I look at that face and I feel like it's like some half owl, half can dancer looking creepo.
Now, for instance, a good example of a fairy type, Grimmsnarl is a perfect example because you know in mythology,
Yes.
Grim, goblins, gremlins, all of them, they are fey creatures. That to me is a perfect example of a fairy type. And then there's other ones too, but like that's the first one that comes to mind. That like it's a good example of why fairy type should be a thing. They explain it's a valid reason for it to be a fairy.
Granbull has no valid reason to be a fairy other than its Pokemon classification. Other than that, there's no valid reason.
The only reason why they made it fairy was because when fairy types became a thing, there was not enough fairies.
Bullshit. They turned so many Pokemon into fairy types. I mean, if you guys haven't caught on, my least favorite is fairy as well. Actually, there's only 6 fairy type Pokemon I can stand/use: Grimmsnarl, Gardevoir, Togekiss, Mimikyu, Alolan Ninetales, Sylveon. That's it. Those are the only
For
six
me,
I can stand and use.
what, Tinkaton's not on there?
I used Tinkaton in my first playthrough, but at the same time, I hate the fact that he just. You don't hate the fact that that thing goes after our boy?
Okay. I will say because Corviknight is my favorite mon, that gets to me. But I absolutely fucking love it at the exact same time because it just gives more lore for my boy Corviknight, not just in Galar but in Paldea as well. Like he is like that thing is like that thing has such a rival that can't even be used as the main transportation service like it is everywhere else because of this one Pokemon. And for that, I gotta give Tinkaton mad props for that. And the fact that if you actually look at Tinkaton's hammer and the coloration of some of those
Yes,
traits,
yes, yes,
it
we
is
know.
clearly Corviknight, yeah, metal.
Yeah, which is another reason why I don't want to see it ever again.
I have respect for it because it hates my favorite Pokemon. I guess you could say.
Ugh.
And the fact that its rival is a fairy instead of like a weasel or a snake or so many other common anti-bird enemies, they made it a fairy with a giant hammer. I'm okay with this. Now, I would love to see a male version of Tinkaton called Tonkaton or something like that. Instead of just Tonk instead of Tink, and make it a fighting steel type instead.
But yeah,
I
you
think.
pretty much you've also pretty much summed up all the reasons as to why I hate fairy type Pokemon as well. So I don't really need to explain why I hate fairy types because freaking Cyber took the mantle on that big time.
Sorry, didn't mean to rain on your parade there.
Hey, you're fine, man. You're pretty much summing up my feelings, and I really appreciate it. I still just don't like the fact that they had the nerf dark type Pokemon. They didn't need the nerf dark types. They didn't need to nerf them. I couldn't care less if they nerfed fighting types, but why nerf dark? You didn't need to do that.
Ignomio, you know what? I would say either green. I would like to see. That's the only Pokemon I actually wouldn't mind seeing a green, but not that sickly green. Make it like a lime green or like a leaf green type of deal.
Who knows? Yeah, just like Tom said, fairy types equals stinky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand why you don't like fairy types, Tom. Perfect explanation right there. But all right, Cyber. Now, what is your least favorite Pokemon game? And if it's one singular game, fine. But if you have like a couple of games, that's fine. So main
Oh
series
no,
spinoff.
my hate is solely for one particular game,
Hit me.
X and Y.
Yes, let's do it. Let's rant. Why do you hate it?
There are so many Pokemon I loved that came from that game.
Agreed.
I hate everything about that region.
Agreed.
Like, okay, I will say I'm slightly What one part of my hate is biased, and I will get the bias part out of the way now.
What is it?
The fact that I have done 3 attempts of my steel lock there, and three of them went down in flames. One of them because of Lysander at the very end, and two of them because of the Fire Elite Four at the very end. And I always saved her for the very last battle. So, two of my three Steel Lock runs literally ended second to last battle because
Yeah.
of that. And literally, it was all RNG bullshit. Like, it was legit. It all came to the RNG bullshit. And it was just like, I hate everything about you.
Oh my god.
Aside from that, that's my biased opinion. My unbiased steel side opinion is the first like 3 or 4 gyms. The the first between the distance between the first and second gym, you're traveling the fucking world.
Yes, I
You're
will say
going
that.
through like 5 or 6 or 8 different biomes just to get to the second gym. And
Yes,
it's like
agreed.
why? Why do you do this the way you do? And you know what? There's some more distance between other gyms, and then they have some gyms like there's 3 or 4 gyms where they're just like clumped together, and it's just back to back to back to back. And you're trying, especially if you're trying to nuzlocke it and you're trying to keep it within level cap, it's just like, uh, you're doing a lot of running, you're avoiding a lot of stuff. It's just not fun.
Yes,
Uh,
that's
the
one of the that's one of the biggest problems I have with my X randomizer and my Y dark lock. One of the biggest problems, the level caps. It's just everything was so back to back. I barely could keep up.
and that's another thing too. The distance between the first and second gym and trying to keep yourself in that level cap while fighting every single trainer you have to fight to get there. It's
I mean,
just like, oh,
some of them you can skip, but then there's just so much bullshit you have to do to level grind. If you don't use the experience share, it takes a while, but if you do, it takes just a few minutes. But still, my point's still valid.
no, so I feel like the Pokemon from that region are honestly, I have no issue. I don't think I have any issues with any Pokemon from that gen. In all honesty, I feel like Gen 4 was a pretty solid gen for Pokemon. Starters were a little starter. No, I liked all this. No, was it? Yeah. I'm sorry, I spaced out there for a second, but yeah, like starters were a little 50-50 in some places, I feel. But aside from that, like Kalos, that's not. Yeah, Kalos, like that was just bad. It was bad.
Plus,
I
the game was way too easy.
Yeah,
A traditional playthrough, the game's way too easy.
oh yeah, that's like yes, I 3 of my Nuzlocks ended at the very end because of typing and RNG. But aside from that, yes, the game was ridiculously easy.
Plus, all the gym leaders were like locked to 2 or 3 Pokemon, which is complete bullshit. The last one didn't have a Mega. To this day, Wolfric is the most disappointing 8th gym leader of all time.
Yep, you are not wrong. He's actually up there. Yeah, and that's another thing. Basically, after your first Mega boss or Mega fight, every single gym leader should have had a Mega evolution.
Yeah. And then the Elite Four didn't have Megas, aside from Diantha, nor did they even use 5 Pokemon. They used 4. That makes no sense. Yes, it's Elite Four, but give them a team of 5, because every other Elite Four has had teams of
At
5.
because yeah, and that was the thing. Like the final gym leaders should have 4 to 5 Pokemon themselves, but I think they only maxed out at 3 Pokemon in that gen.
Yeah, the gym leaders, yes.
It was bad. It was bad, and like yeah, no, it was yeah. Sorry, Kalos.
What are your thoughts on Diantha?
um, she's not. I mean,
So
I'd
here's
say she's a very mediocre champion. There are definitely a lot worse, and there are definitely way better.
who. All right, so
Um,
here's my bias for Generation 6. Everybody I know says that Gita is the worst champion ever, but I want to seriously just put them in their place and say Diantha is the worst because of one particular reason. The lady
that's that reason.
is in her game. Gita is in her game. Diantha is not in her game.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You don't see her at all until the very end.
No, there are only 5 boxes of text where you actually interact with Diantha. The first one is when you meet her at the lab. The second one is at the cafe. The fourth one is when you meet her at the railway for Coraline City. And then the fourth one is if you don't re-challenge her, you find her at the champion battle.
Yeah.
And then the 5th time is a post-game encounter where she gives you a Ralts with the Gardevoirite. Other than that, you never interact with her.
You're not wrong.
In Paldea, you interact with Gita like every other gym. She's
Other gym.
in her game. True, her team sucks. Diantha's team sucks too. I cleared the entire game with a Greninja. Not a bad
Yep.
Pokemon, but still, I wiped her entire team with a Greninja at level 80. Not even 100.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
True. If Gina made her ace the King Gambit with Supreme Overlord, and she actually EV trained it to tank a hit, it could have been a decent fight. But nope.
She had the worst possible. No, there have definitely been worse choices for their ace mons for gym leaders and champions, but she could have had a much better ace Pokemon. Like especially with King Gambit's ability, Supreme. Like to be fair, I feel like if they gave it to her, it would have swept and it would have been a net game. She would have been too hard at that point.
Look,
But
they EV trained and gave competitive movesets to Cynthia, man. To Cynthia.
yeah, Cynthia was evil.
Giving a Pokemon Supreme Overlord, that's nothing.
You're not wrong.
All right. So next comes the point of the show where I like to get the guests' first ever experience with Pokemon. So where in your life did you get your first experience with Pokemon? Games, anime, cards, what was it?
Ooh, that is a tough question because it literally happened in like mid '90s.
Well, just
I remember if
whatever the first thing that comes to mind.
well, I remember growing. Okay, there's two things that come to mind because these were like core memories for me when it came to Pokemon. I remember when the the show came out available on VHS, and I'm calling my age hard on that one.
Dude, I
People
know
probably don't
VHS
even know
man
what
too.
VHS.
Dude, I'm 26 going on 27.
Fair. But I collected the original Pokemon on VHS. But the biggest one for me was, and this is gonna sound like this is nerdy as crap, but hey, we're pokeNERDS.
This whole
I
show is
was
called PokeNERDS.
exactly. I was part in the '90s when the card game first came out, and up until after the Team Rocket one, so like the Dark Jolteons and stuff like that. I think maybe the Gym Leader Challenge, but in that age range, first couple gens of card games, I was part of the Pokemon League.
Hmm.
I had all 8 badges. Um, I was regional wise, and they played it in a Toys R Us on Sundays. And back in the '90s, especially in our areas, stores were closed on Sundays, so they would literally just open this one store in a giant mall, just so a bunch of kids and older nerds could get together to play Pokemon card games and duke it out. And it was official, I guess, because we there's like tournaments and stuff like that, and I was classified if like Elite Four level or something like that back in the '90s. So like for the region,
Hmm.
which was probably small, mind you, because there's probably just a couple of stores. But no, that was fun. I wish I still had those badges.
I mean, you could buy badge sets from like Etsy or Amazon, stuff like
Oh, I
that.
know, but these were like official, like from the '90s, like from Pokemon Co. Like sponsored badges and all that stuff. They were pretty cool.
Maybe they're
As
around.
the original one.
Maybe they're around somewhere on eBay or something like that. Who knows?
I'm sure I could find them.
Yeah, I'm sure I could too. But my very first, like the very first time I had any experience with Pokemon was the VHS tapes. I borrowed the tape that contained 3 episodes: the Pokemon Shipwrecked, the Isle of Giant Pokemon, and Tentacool and Tentacruel. Which, fun fact, Tentacool and Tentacruel is now a banned episode in the U.S.
Yep.
Oh, looks
I
like that.
sure
Looks
did
like Tom
not.
still has those badges.
Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, Tom, they weren't in the shape of the badge. They were kind of like rectangular. They had the badge printed on it, but they were like a white badge, and they had just like the symbol of it or something like that of like the badge shape. If those are the ones that if you know what I'm talking about.
Hey, you, Tom. Like I don't know if this was like I don't know what was going on in the U.S. in the '90s. So I don't know if that was like I don't know if that was like a Canada thing or something like that. I have no idea. Like Tom's actually from Canada too, so like
Much
I don't
love,
know if that
Tom. You know
like I don't
exactly
know
what I'm talking about then.
like I don't know if they did that type I don't know if they did the exact same thing in the US. I'd have to like look that up because I genuinely don't know.
If you're part of Spence's Discord channel, share them in the picture channel.
He's not on my Discord. We were both part of the podcast Discord, so you can post him in there if you want.
Even better.
Didn't have a Blaine's or Giovanni's badges. Aw, that's upsetting.
Yeah, that's honestly, I actually remember we had an issue for a while getting Erica and Sabrina badges. We had a shortage of Erica and Sabrina badges at R1.
Interesting.
I had to
All right,
wait
but
like a month to get them.
oh, okay, but anyway, so back to what I was saying. So yeah, I borrowed the VHS tape. It had those 3 episodes on it, and I was just dumbfounded and fascinated by the entire series. It's like these 3 kids travel the world catching monsters and then just battling them, and then kids constantly getting shocked by an electric rodent. It's like this looks like so much fun. So
The only issue I had with Ash's journey, and this is just the ADHD OCD part of me, is he did not try to catch them all. At no point in time did this kid try to catch them all.
nope.
And literally the theme song was about catching them all.
Well, technically his name's supposed to be Catchem, but you know how that goes. But hey, we got a question. What was the one detail you were excited for before release that disappointed you after the release in a Pokemon game? That is a very interesting question.
Ooh, I
Hmm.
would have to say Z moves.
Hmm. Z moves.
I feel like when they were first introduced, I felt a little bit more like I felt like they were going to be more signature based moves, but they weren't. Like I thought it was going to be like I kind of liked it where basically almost any Pokemon could use it as long as they had the move that corresponded with the Z crystal. But I was kind of thinking of it more like the Mega Evolution, whereas yeah, they would have their own particular Mega form, but they would have their own particular Z move, and that would be true for all of them.
It kind
Like
of
you
make
know, like okay,
like I was me personally. I wasn't exactly disappointed with Gigantamax Pokemon, but I was disappointed with Gmax moves
okay,
because there are Gmax moves that are just way underutilized compared to the normal version. Like for example, Gmax Snooze and Max Darkness. Max Darkness in terms of competitive battling does so much better when it comes like lowering stats. That for me that's a much better alternative to Gmax Snooze, which will the next turn put the team to sleep. So
yeah,
because some Pokemon can wake up pretty early from sleep through abilities, but stat drops you can't beat stat drops.
you can't.
So
No, you're
yeah,
not wrong. I will get. Actually, that's fair. Like the difference between a Dynamax move and a Gmax move was kind of off-putting at times.
I mean there
And
was
it
some
wasn't
of
just
the
one or two of them. There was actually a couple of them where the Gmax version was actually significantly worse.
I mean, there are versions where the Gmax form is significantly better, but more times than not, the Gmax move is a lot is far less superior.
Fair.
All right, but anyway, back to what I was saying regarding the experience factor. So after that, I pretty much went full blown nerd and just dived into everything. I will say though that because of my autism, I like the fact that Pokemon is forever changing. So that's why I think
Mm.
it's stuck with me for as long as it has. Because usually, if something is like very repetitive and very the same every single day, I'm pretty much straight up bored with it after a while. But the fact that Pokemon just constantly changes, it just keeps me interested and keeps me like roped in. So
And that's actually one of the main reasons why I'm a big fan of Pokemon and even Transformers, is because well, in Transformers toy, you bought a toy and you got two, if not three or more toys in one, because you had the animal or vehicle mode, and then you had the robot mode.
mm-hmm.
And it was the same with Pokemon, whereas you caught something and like I freely admit my least favorite Pokemon are generally Pokemon that don't have evolutions.
Fair enough.
Because they do not change, they do not evolve. I can't put experience into it and get a different form. And I actually really like that about Pokemon, and that's another reason why I like Digimon too, was because you could change, and they had different evolution paths. But yeah, I digress.
Interesting. All right. So next comes to the point of the segment where I like to call the emote elaboration. So you've already been
Yay!
doing it throughout the day. So Cyber, post a bunch of your Pokemon themed emotes and give us a story as to why it is there and if there's a designer behind it, who designed it. So share the emotes, please.
Okay, well here's the first one. My favorite one now, my favorite new one, especially if they're Pokemon based, is the Murder Burb, and the reason should be obvious. He's my favorite Pokemon.
Uh huh.
Um, then, of course, I have my shiny luck one, which is shiny Lucario, and he is in the classic Goku power up form pose, which I feel is definitely appropriate because Lucario and Goku are practically, like he literally does a Kamehameha, and his shiny is like a Super Saiyan. So he has that pose there, good old shiny luck. Um, this one here, good old Mint, is well, as anyone who has probably visited my streams a few times, is whenever something's going well in my favor, one of the few things I say is, everything's turning up Millhouse, of course, is a classic, but Mint, it's Mint.
Mm-hmm.
And of course it's a shiny Scizor head, because a shiny Scizor head, if you look at it, looks like a mint leaf. Uh,
Fair enough.
so so it's Mint. And of course, another good old Pokemon-based one I have, just make sure I have them all showing, is going to be the dead Rip
Scope easy.
Magneton. And the best reason why is because it has three
Magneton.
eyes.
It's Magnezone.
Magnezone, you're right. That's my bad. Is because it has three eyes and it can properly emote its death because it is dead. And if you threw ground type at that thing, that would exactly be the look it gives you.
You think the red
Is dead.
dot's an eye?
I mean, I know it's not, but I always consider it an eye.
Fair enough. I've been like Lucario and Magnezone are tied for my favorite steel type because I can't choose between the two.
They're both good choices.
Yeah, like Magnezone mainly because of all the runs I've had involved with it, and Lucario because he's been one of my favorites for as long as I can remember.
Yes. I do have other emotes, of course, but they're not as Pokemon based. And those are the awesome ones.
Yeah. Well, I got a crap ton of Pokemon emotes, but this is just like these are the main ones right here for the entire channel.
And I love your emotes.
I
Oh, by
appreciate
the
it.
way, my artist, you mentioned my artist. All four of the Pokemon emotes I showed were done by the same artist, Miss Jackson. They often come into my stream. But yeah, they did my emotes, and they actually did my recent profile picture.
Yeah, you told me about that. But yeah, some of these were made by a Fiverr designer. I cannot remember, but some of these were made by Video Game Shay and Sunny. Now that we got more emote slots coming up, I have to find a way to get a commission. But anyway, so my mainly used GIF emotes or like animated emote is my Zorua giggle. Everyone I come across loves this emote. Everyone, because it's just the shiny Zorua giggling, and just everyone loves it. I don't know a single person that hates it.
It is fun.
Hydreigon, Banhammer. Like I wanted this to look a little bit more menacing, but Shay, like bless her heart, she has some of the best design stuff of any emote artist I know. But it's just it's just it's just hard for I think it's just hard for her to make stuff look menacing. Like she does really good with like the Mega Houndoom stuff that she made a while back, but it's just hard to make stuff look menacing for her. I think. Like,
Yeah.
all right, so I will say this: like I did not think in a million years they could make Blood Moon Ursaluna look cute. Shay, hold my beer. She comes out like last week with a new drawing of Ursaluna, and it looks cute. How does she do it? Like, I don't know how she does it, but she made it look cute. I don't understand it.
It's awesome.
She has amazing art, but I don't understand how she did it. But yeah, so I got traditional like Obstagoon crossing its arms. This is actually a remake of the original Demon emote, which doesn't exist anymore. Let's see, my Greninja the Shiny Greninja is high. Darkrai is obviously my lurk, because lurking in Darkrai's shadow or being dragged into Darkrai's shadow. So most of my emotes are based off of dark types, but my Shiny Luck emo is based off Regidrago because my very first on-screen Shiny was a Regidrago. So that's why it's there. And obviously I got Obstagoon for Rage and Shiny Hype. Pog was made by Sunny. The Grimmsnarl was made by Sunny. This is supposed to be a sus emote, but I don't know a single person besides me that uses this one. I don't know a single person that does. So also Video Game Shade did an amazing job with this one. The sushi emote, I fell in love with Lantern in my electric only run of Shield. And to my blessed heart, she died. Oh my god. Like, my heart sunk so low. It literally sunk to my feet because I wanted to take her to the finale, but I couldn't.
That's unfortunate.
But go ahead.
No, I just said rip.
Oh, sorry. So my favorite emote that I have is a tie between these two. My Obsta Piers, which is, Obstagoon jamming it out. That looks like it fused with Piers, perfect fusion there. And my most used emote, my Galarian Zigzagoon biting on a heart. I absolutely love this one.
Beautiful one. That's a great one.
I got a flex emote, but that's only made for the people who have given me 20k bits, so that way they can flex on their like what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? Their sense of giving, or their sense of generosity.
That's fair.
But yeah, Reagan Nerd was made by Shay as well, but like I said, this is Pokemon themed emotes, so I mean I can't have pokeNERDS Inc. podcast without the nerd emotes there.
True. Very true.
All right. So now comes one of the most anticipated segments of the show, the shared experiences segment. So this is the reason why I had you send me 3 clips. So
okay.
So now we're going to give you guys some of our best ever Pokemon moments we've had, because I'm one of the main Pokemon guys. I have a lot, so I have 3 new clips for you guys. Cyber has some good clips, so I got 3 of them, and we're gonna watch them together. Mod Squad, let me know in mod chat in the Discord if these clips are too loud, because I actually can't see the vocal ranges of these clips when it's on my main screen, so just let me know if these clips are too loud and I have to turn stuff down. Okay, so this is gonna look funky for a second, so just bear with me. Here we go. Whoops. All right, here we go. So this is Cyber's first clip. I actually watched it beforehand and I started laughing my ass off, so let's watch Cyber's. Let's watch this one.
We can't get critted. As long as he doesn't have a fire move, we should be fine.
Fortress gets O-code by a Metapod with Fire Punch.
I knew, I called that too. I was like, as long as I don't get hit with a fire move. And
oh
look
my!
what it had.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I think this was shortly after you joined Team Yell, because I see Sog Monkey followed you right there. So I think this is like shortly after you joined Team Yell.
It must have been shortly. Yeah, I don't even think I have my it was right before I got the Team Yell logo. So right before I got probably accepted, they were scouting me out.
All right, let's continue.
Dead. Me dying.
Just straight up, just going dead.
as long as you.
All right. So this one you have your mask on, and I guess the mask brought you some luck. I don't know what you encountered here. I don't remember what you encountered here.
This is during my sleep lock that unfortunately went down in flames when the power went out due to a thunderstorm.
Oh, it's you, dude.
Jared, don't say that. What? What? It was wonderful.
Oh, and I didn't notice that thing was that your TV was playing the game in the background. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, anytime I'm streaming from my Switch, the TV's usually playing in the background too for the actual game.
Gotcha.
The power of the mask.
That's a good one. This one I believe I was here for, but I never commented on. Never commented on it.
You did, you were there for it because I think you mentioned it like the very next stream I popped into you.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm pretty sure I was here.
And this was right before I got Team Yell too, because I don't have the Team Yell logo yet.
Yeah.
How fucking shiny! I was like, wait a second. Like, you see that stunned look on my face. I'm like, wait, is that what I think it is?
I mean, you did something I never did because I never actually ran into a shiny on screen during any of my dark locks. Like, I mean, I
couldn't use it, but
I ran into a shiny, like in my Y dark lock, I ran into a shiny Mr. Mime. The Ultra Moon Dark Lock I ran into a shiny Pelipper. And I don't think I found any shinies in my Galar Dark Lock. I don't think I did. But still, you did something I never did, so I gotta give you props on that one, bro.
I mean, I also got a shiny during a Ironmon too, so I'm not gonna like that's pretty nice. They don't look right. Well, looks like I'm catching a shiny Yamask. I always seem to get the shinies when I don't want to get, like when I'm not expecting to get them, but when I'm shiny hunting, they just avoid me. Like I have a curse.
I mean, I also gotta say this. I hatched over 600 eggs for that little motherfucker, and then you just randomly find one when you're not even trying.
I remember you commenting at that on your stream too. Like when I saw you next, you called me out for that. Oh, good times.
Hey, and just piss everybody off. Quick ball.
Guys. Yep. Well then, only to piss people off.
How did that become a thing back then? Like, how the hell was there such a freaking hatred Twitter trauma bullshit over Pokeballs? Why?
Because apparently because people don't like the color combination of white or of yellow and blue and the design of it. So it became people's least favorite ball, and because of that,
tell that to M&J TV.
I know, right? I love watching M&J TV. He's fantastic.
All right. So here are 3 new clips for you guys. 2 of these are from randomizers. One of them was another one where my mod squad wanted to come to my apartment and slap me. So this was during the Galar Shiny Showdown, and I'll just let the clip speak for itself. Yeah, Dominic is a person. Oh no! Yes! 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 Tips! Basically, my mods were like, "Put the sword down!" Every time I brought that sword on stream. Every single time I got roasted for bringing on a damn sword.
I can barely tell that's a shiny.
I can. I mean, if the clip included what it normally looked like, you could tell instantly.
Fair.
Sword! Shiny sushi! Also, I will say that sword's not sharp, so when I was holding it, I had no risk of getting cut. Base done, baby. Yeah, that was a good event. So this one actually has a little bit of history. Well, recent history. I'll explain that in a bit. I don't have the clip for it ready, but I will explain what happened afterwards. So let's watch this.
Oh, the blood lock.
Yeah, let's watch this. And also, actually, if I'm not mistaken, this was either the second to last or the last stream I had before I had my accident. like the accident where I broke my back. Like
Yeah.
this was either the second to last or the last stream I had where I broke my back. But anyway. Bam.
Nice.
I said no fucking way. Fun fact, challenge run or not, this was the very first time I ever found a shiny in Orez.
Oh, nice.
So this is where I would say Destiny comes into play, because this was also the same day I found I got the Obstagoon. I was going after the Linoon, and then all of a sudden, a random Encino pops up shiny.
Huh. That's actually a real nice catch.
Yeah, so technically I never claimed this shiny, but now like 10 months later, Destiny kicks in and I found it shiny in Galar. So I will say that finally Destiny took part, and I now have a legit shiny Mincino.
Huzzah!
I mean, it's not one of my favorite shinies, but I did finally claim one.
Fair.
This was back in the early days, back when I actually wore that flannel shirt anytime I did a randomizer, and obviously my background was different and everything. This is back with like my OG, like semi OG setup. This is like yeah, I had a mic with this one. I had a I had a semi decent camera, so I'll just let this speak for itself. Cronus is there. Oh my god! Holy shit! Guys! This is also before I started growing out my hair. But yeah, yeah, I also was using those fingerless leather gloves for some reason. I'm not sure why, but still. Yeah.
They made you cooler, obviously.
That is a full-on shiny Silcoon! This was in Gen 5, so this was the full 1 in 8,000 odds. And of course, it was during a randomizer, so it wasn't a real shiny.
Yeah, I hate when that happens.
That shiny claw's right there, people.
The
Somebody
false
clip
shinies.
that, please.
The cake is a lie.
Somebody
The cake
clip
is a
that.
lie.
I mean,
That is a full-on shiny Silcoon, which means Cronus.
I mean, I never actually used that Silcoon in. Well, I never actually used that Beautifly in the run itself, but still, the fact that I found a random shiny Silcoon in a randomizer it baffles me. Oh, we gotta hydrate.
On the plus side, you get to see me looking like Dr. Robotnik.
Jim Carrey played a good Dr. Robotnik, I will say that.
He was a fantastic Robotnik.
It's also a shame because that was probably his last movie ever.
I mean, I'm sure he'll do more, but he's definitely going to take a hiatus.
I mean, he's technically on hiatus right now, but I'm not, like, I never got official word that he officially retired, but still. So now, aside from the clips that we had, are there any, like, Pokemon related moments that you can think of that were, like, just so out of this world or just so, like, story worthy? It doesn't have to be on stream. This could be also off screen stuff. So hit me if you got a story.
The fact that I went like 10 plus years between seeing a shiny Pokemon really stands out. Yeah,
What?
like I remember one of my first. Okay, I can't remember which was my first shiny, but one of my first two shinies I've ever seen was a Pikachu and B a Caterpie. So, AKA, you can barely tell they're even shiny to begin with.
Well, Caterpie you can, Pikachu you can't.
Yeah, in the older school games it was a little harder.
Okay.
But and that was like 10 plus years ago, probably even more at this point. I was definitely in my early 20s. And
Okay.
then I did not see a single shiny again until it was on stream, and it was actually during my shiny lock of, or not shiny lock, but during my steel lock of Paldea, and it was the Magnemite.
So all right, we have two questions in the chat. One's for both of us, one's just for you. So for both of us, who is your most disliked NPC in all of Pokemon, side games included? If it's one of those, any story behind the dislike? Okay, I know the answer, but I can't remember the answer. There's just one NPC that just completely drives me crazy, but I can't remember who it is. So, Cyber, if you got an answer, go ahead. I gotta think.
There's two for me. I'm just trying to remember the name of one of them. 1 second here.
Jeez, I
So
know
one of them being Hop. I hate Hop.
he's not mine, but
Um, what's the other one? 1 second.
jeez,
Pulling up their names.
who was that?
I know it's eating me alive, and we're professional guys.
Yeah, we're professional nerds, and we can't remember who pissed us off.
Barry. Wait, is it Barry?
Barry's Gen 4 with the stripes. Come on, brain, work. Who was it? Who do you hate? Jeez.
Yeah, it's Barry. Between Barry and Hop for me.
Jeez,
I just can't like him. Well, for me, Hop is just so annoying. Just everything, and I don't know what it is about Hop that I dislike, but I just look at him and I want to kick him in the face.
That's a little bit of child abuse, but still.
Well, I'm also 15 in this game too, so it's just bullying at that point.
Fair enough.
But Barry also, I find Barry really annoying. They're whiny. I find they're some of the whiniest rivals.
I'm trying my damnedest to remember who that was. I know there is an NPC out there that just completely drives me insane, but I cannot remember him, or I can't remember who it exactly it is. While I'm thinking of that, there's actually a specific question for you, Cyber. What is your favorite and least favorite fire type Pokemon?
Well, I will start with my least favorite because that one should be well known, especially if you've been following my soul lock with Sammy. Simisear. I hate that entire line. Simisear though, it can just die. It can die a painful, horrible, painful death.
Look, I don't know a lot of people that like the monkeys. I don't know a lot of people that like the monkeys.
They are garbage.
They're supposed to be garbage.
I know, but still, like they're bad garbage. Like like Trubbish is better than they are, and he's literal garbage.
I actually hate Garbodor. I genuinely hate that Pokemon so much.
I'm not a fan of it, but I don't have a hate for it per se. For my favorite fire though, it's a toss up. I really like Infernape because he's one of the only few fire starters I actually like. Aside from him, the only other fire starter I like is the Skeledirge line. No, so I'm gonna have to probably say Infernape. He's a pretty solid Pokemon.
All right. So when Mikey comes back in, just say the answers Infernape and Simisear.
Okay,
Yeah, because he's stuck in the ad break. So yeah, again, guys, the main reason why I installed ad breaks is to get rid of pre-roll ads, so the ads don't just sporadically appear at any point in the stream. So to get these set ad breaks, so that way you guys can get uninterrupted me, or in this case, us.
Welcome back.
All right, so.
Okay,
so
welcome back. So, my least favorite, I'm not too sure if you heard my least favorite and favorite fire types, Mikey. But my least favorite is Simisear because I hate everything to do with those three monkeys. And ironically enough, my favorite would probably have to be Infernape, which is the other fire monkey. So that's in all honesty, I do also like Heatran because Fire Steel type, and that's the only one. But the fact that I hate the fact that the only Fire Steel type is a legendary.
I think, all honesty, if I had to pick my least favorite like NPC, like it would probably just have to be like it would just have to be a three-way tie between the three other rivals in X and Y, Shauna, Tierno, and Trevor. Like I can't stand these kids. I mean, Shauna's a little cute when you watch the fireworks with her, but other than that, she's just some annoying little crap.
Hey, Ritzels.
Ritzel's coming in with a gifted sub. I appreciate that.
Woo!
Yeah, if I get 2 more of those for the week, I get to open up a pack of cards. But anyway, yeah. So that'd be my answer for that one. So continue on with that story you were talking about. You said you didn't find another shiny again until you were 20, or the Dynamite.
Yeah. So yeah, basically it took me like 10 to 13 years to find another shiny from the Pikachu and Caterpie. I know I found the Pikachu first because I actually remember using the Caterpie in a game I played, and that was definitely more recent than the Pikachu, but that was still like 10 years ago. And aside from that, the very next one I saw wasn't until my Steel Lock of Paldea, and that was a Magnemite.
Let's see. The first shiny I ever found was a shiny Hoppip in Leaf Green, and I never actually was able to keep it because I never was any good with storing or keeping Pokemon in one place at one time, so I never actually kept it. I did reclaim it in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, but I don't have the original one. Are there any other stories you can?
I don't have any of the originals aside from the ones I've been getting recently.
Are there any other stories you can think of that are worth sharing, or is there like a stale or like?
Trying to think if there's any other big stories. I mean, honestly, I still think it was pretty cool that I found a shiny in a Terraden, which is apparently higher odds than full shiny odds.
Well, technically it's technically it's full odds entirely, no boosted odds and a terror rate. But which one did you find?
There was a snow run.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now I remember. Yeah, lucky you. I still have yet to find a shiny in a terror raid.
And it was funny because it was impossible to tell it was shiny until after the terror broke because of the shard that it was.
I found a shiny in a Max Den, and all right, so it was the Thunderlock. It was the very first session of it. First time I went to the wild area, the very first den I ran into was a Grubbin den. And I was like, I already got one. I'm just gonna zoom by it. I went back to that exact same den for funsies because I just had to think, if there was a shiny in there, I could have passed up on one of the greatest reactions in the history of my channel. Long behold,
it was shiny.
Dude, if I had just did that den for funsies, I could have had one of the best reactions ever on my channel. Because this was during the Thunderlock, a run where I could use a shiny Vikavolt. And I did. I mean, I did use that Vikavolt, but I don't have a footage of finding it. I don't. I got the encounter footage or a picture of it from my Switch, but I don't have any live reaction footage. I don't.
Yeah, I got you. That's unfortunate. And honestly, and that's another thing, because as much as I want to keep on doing my shiny Nuzlocke, man, finding that Rowlet shiny starter sucks so much. And I'm thinking of I was doing it off stream. I'm like, knowing my luck, I'm gonna find it off stream, and I'm not gonna be able to get a great reaction from it.
And how do you think I feel about Darkrai?
Yeah.
I was about to say something, but then I lost it. I mean, oh yeah, you already know my Rowlet story. I think I've told this. I told this story on the podcast before. Finding a shiny Rowlet in 3 resets when I wasn't even hunting for it. I already told that story before.
Hey, I'm holding up one particular finger for you because of that. Take a guess on which one it is.
Oh, would it be this one? Reagan, I'm still after that.
No.
Yeah, I'm still hunting that bastard, Reagan. I'm still going after it. All right, so last, before the final segment, this is the segment where I like to bring up any relevant Pokemon news that's going around the community. Lately, Pokemon news has been kind of dry, to be honest. But there are speaking of shiny Darkrai, though, I saw this. I saw this Dexterto article that. Oh, let me turn this on. Let me turn this on for a smidge second. Pokemon Go player in complete shock after shiny Darkrai ran away.
Oh.
Let's see. For those who don't know, raids are the backbone of Pokemon end game for the player who caught the powerful Pokemon, healing the occurring when a boss Pokemon takes over a gym, despite the supposed 100% catch chance. That's it. All right. So apparently, with these Darker raids, unlike typical catchphrases following a raid, if the shiny version of the Pokemon drops, it's supposed to 100% catch rate. This is primary due to the meaner chance of it dropping in the first place. Let's see. Fortunately, a seemingly rare glitch occurred where the stricken player saying shiny Pokemon have a 100% catch rate from the raids, but mine still ran away. I'm in complete shock and confusion. I have no idea how this glitch occurred. Let's see. There's some things there. After a thorough investigation of records show that we have successfully completed the raid mentioned, already been reimbursed for this raid issue since there was no raid issues found. And what the crap? It's not even like trying to explain like where the hell the glitch was.
In the code.
Yeah, they're saying they're just like giving the robotic response saying, "Oh, it's not our fault." Fuck you, it's your fault. I mean before I mean there's a lot of crap that these guys have gotten away with over the years. I mean, hell, Turbo, I mean, bless him before he passed, he was a very strong advocate for them discontinuing the at-home feature for Pokemon Go, which I believe they still should have kept. Because after all, there are people that physically cannot leave their place of living, and Pokemon Go is a great experience for those people. So it was bullshit of them to remove that after the pandemic died down.
Yeah, they should have kept it going.
Yeah, but they didn't because they're greedy fucks. I mean, I got another article, but I don't think it's really worth mentioning. It's just like a potential card prices for the upcoming TCG set for Scarlet and Violet.
A lot.
Yeah, we'll see. But anyway, Cyber, this is the ending segment. This now comes the ending segment where I like to give the guests a chance to explain give the chance to have the floor for giving some juicy bits on whether there are any future plans you have in store or what are your current goals. What are your current goals coming up? So let me hit it.
Actually, now that you mention it, I was gonna drop some news on y'all, wonderful folks, because of some stuff. And you know, a lot of my followers, both old and new, are probably aware I've been a little bit of hiatus lately. I've been coming back to do my Soul Links with Sammy, Aaron, and all that fun jazz. But aside from that, I've been kind of on a hiatus due to life, mental health, all that fun jazz. However, I am here to let you know I am returning to streaming on a more regular basis. Of course, me being a dad and because of my physical health, keeping a set schedule is near impossible. However, you seeing me once a week or once every couple weeks is going to be a thing of the past. I will be coming back with a brand new continuance of our Steel Lock Invasion, where we return to the most hated game of all times, Kalos. and try to get that one under our belt so we can complete our Steel Lock invasion of all the regions and work our way down from there again.
Beast on, baby.
We will be doing the occasional shiny hunting. However, shiny hunting is not going to be our focus as much as it had been closer to the end of our streaming sessions. Because I am not a shiny hunter, guys. I'm a challenge runner. I'm a Nuzlocker. I'll do it for fun every once in a while, but it's not where my heart is. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm coming back, guys.
All right. Love to hear that. Any other juicy tidbits?
What?
What? What happened?
Oh, what did you say?
I said, any other juicy tidbits?
Any other juicy tidbits aside from me just missing that Gengar just now? Not really. Aside from life's going good, all that fun jazz. Pokemon wise, yeah, it's just a lot of fun stuff's going to be around the corner, guys. I'm excited for some of the stuff. I'm going to be making some new layouts, of course, for it, like I always do for any new segment. But yes, be tuned for more for the annoyance of Kalos. We are going to win it this time. Fourth time is a charm. We are going to do it.
Speaking of layouts, Cybernetic Axis, I have a proposition for you.
Yes.
So for those guys that don't know, Cyber is one of my labeled artists for the channel because he has designed a few layouts for me. But these were out of the kindness of his heart when I was in a jam. But Cyber, I love the guy that does my regular layout designs, but I'd like to keep this all in the community. So, Cybernetic Axis, how would you like to become the official layout artist for the Poké Network?
I would be absolutely honored to be the official layout artist for the Poké Network.
All right.
Thank you very much. It is an honor. Thank you very much for extending that to me.
We'll discuss terms and such off camera because I'm not going to discuss business terms on stream. So there you have it, guys. Cybernetic Axis is now. There you go, guys. Cybernetic Axis is now going to be the official layout artist for the channel. I mean, when it comes to the animated stuff, I don't know if that's in your repertoire or not, but when it comes to
I will learn it. But,
I mean, when it comes to my challenge runs and stuff, I need layouts, so definitely will need your help, buddy. Which speaking of, I want to do a new randomizer before the year ends. So
yay,
guys,
randomizers are awesome.
So guys, I have a formal announcement to make. I don't know when exactly I'm going to be launching off the ground, but I am going to be returning to Alola for an Ultra Sun Randomizer Nuzlocke challenge.
Ooh, that's good. I'm excited for that. Alola's actually really fun.
Yeah. I also still want to do some retro replay content. Like I said a few podcasts ago, I still want to do a replay of Shadows of Olmia, so I still want to get that off the ground, but we'll see how that goes. But still, my main goal is to get the 2K before the end of the year. But Mr. Cyber here needs you guys' help. Guys, exclamation point guest in the chat. If you are not following Cybernetic Axis, please drop the man a follow. He is just less than 10 followers away from 500. So guys, if you can help him get to 500 followers, please help my brother. Please help my brother out.
You guys would be awesome if you did. I would greatly appreciate it, and you guys would just be awesome.
Yes, they would. But all right, Cyber, once again, brother, I want to thank you so much again for tuning into this. Well, actually, I'm thinking about an outro right now, but I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to sit down with us and chat and want to be on the podcast itself. So it still means a lot that there are people out there that want to be interviewed by a guy like me. So thank you so much for that, Cyber.
It means a lot to be a guy who wants to be interviewed. So it means a lot. Thank you.
And it's still again, I keep saying this, but thank you for being a good part of the Goon Squad, a good part of my community. So seriously, Cyber, you're a top guy.
Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. I love the community. You have one of the best communities around.
Appreciate that. But also, again, guys, reminder everybody that season 2 of pokeNERDS Inc. is dedicated to our brother, our nerd, our friend, our family, TheTrueTurbo, which is why we're all wearing bow ties for him. He was the last guest on season 1, and we like, he did not deserve to leave this earth. He should have lived a lot longer, and he should have. He had the biggest heart of anyone I ever met on Twitch, and it was the biggest honor of my life to interview this man. So seriously, guys, I love you, man. We love you. I keep getting mushy here. But okay, so here's the last segment we need. Here's the last part we need your help with. Guest chooses the raid. So where do you want to go today?
That is a good question. So let's see who we got streaming. You know what? I see a fellow team Yell member. I've dropped her name a few times. Might as well. Let's go raid Sammy Aaron. She's shiny hunting a Giratina. Oh,
she's going after Giratina, eh?
Yes, it looks like it.
All right, we'll go raid Sammy. All right, I'm gonna get the raid messages posted in the chat. Please copy and paste these. Raid is for subscribers. Raid 2 is for followers. Let's see, Sammy. All right, Sammy Aran, here we come. All right, raid is starting. I'd appreciate if y'all would hop in on this raid with us. We can go raid our fellow Team Yell mate and our fellow nerd, Sammy Iran. So once again, Cyber, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of the podcast today. And I want to thank you guys again for tuning into the podcast and being a large part of the community. How do you normally end a stream?
Basically the same way you do. I don't beast out, baby, of course, but I like to thank everyone for joining us. I hope everyone has a fantastic evening. And we will see you the next time we are rocking it out, guys. Enjoy yourselves.
And I go by stay safe, stay strong, stay tuned for Pokemon exclusive content. And as always, this has been the Top Goon, your man Spence. Beast out. I'll see you in the raid. Y'all have a great night, you nerds. But in honor of the TheTrueTurbo, we say, stay safe, stay rockin', stay true to yourself. I'll have a new episode of the podcast in 2 weeks, guys, so stay tuned for this one. But from all us nerds of pokeNERDS Inc., goodbye. See you next time.